Hey, today I want to cover how much it cost me to spend 26 days in the beautiful country of Georgia. I'm going to tell you what I did and just give you an overview of how much things cost in Georgia. So, first, the total sum. I spent a total of 1,128 euros in Georgia during my 26 days stay there. So this includes everything: my flight from and to Germany, accommodation, transport, a ski pass, ski rentals, fuel, food, SIM card, literally just everything. In total, this means that I spent around 300 euros per week and around 43 euros per day. So what did my trip look like? In the first 10 days, I was traveling with a friend, and then he flew back to Germany. And we met in Tbilisi, then we rented a car, drove to Mestia, there we went skiing for the first time, then we drove back to Tbilisi, then we took the train to Tbilisi, then we stayed there for a couple of days, and after that we rented the car, drove to Gudauri where I met with another friend, then we went skiing again, and then we headed back to Tbilisi, and that's where I stayed for the rest of the time. So in the first 10 days where my friend was still there, we were sharing rooms and we worked either from our apartments or we went to a cafe, and we were basically eating out all the time, except for breakfast where we just got like 5 eggs or something and boiled them in our room. We overall looked for the cheapest accommodation, but most of the time we didn't go with the cheapest option, but just looked for a good balance between finding a nice place to stay and like where we could work and have solid Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So we either booked on booking.com or on Airbnb, and it was overall quite cheap. So on my whole trip I paid less than 300 euros for accommodation, and I realized it's definitely cheaper if you're not traveling alone. Like especially you get more for your money, because most of the time like a single room costs the same, independent of whether you're alone or whether you're two-person. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you searching for a travel buddy if you're going to Georgia or if you're traveling in general. Then we went skiing twice, once in Mestia and once in Gudauri. It was two completely different experiences, especially regarding the equipment, but the costs were approximately the same. Rentals as well as ski ticket were both 25 euros approximately per day. But the apartment and the food was way more expensive in Gudauri, which is like a very touristic place. But also the quality of the equipment was way better, despite not being more expensive. But in Gudauri we paid 128 euros for 2 nights, which was really expensive compared to the other stays. But we had a cheaper option before. It was like 80 euros for 2 nights, but it was very disgusting. It was very dirty, very filthy. So we decided to leave and just cancel it and search for another option, which was a bit more expensive, but I'm glad we did it, because then we had a nice 1-bedroom apartment with a small kitchen and everything, so it was quite cool. And yeah, after we were in Gudauri, we went back to Tbilisi and my friend left, and I stayed in Tbilisi to work on my thesis. And I wanted to go to a hostel. Like, I really look forward to it because I've spent already quite a few nights in hostels in my life, and I've had some good and some bad experiences, but overall I really enjoyed it because you get to know other people. You have like oftentimes very cool places, nice areas to work. So yeah, just went for the cheapest hostel, which had quite good reviews, like 9 stars something out of 10. It cost under 5 euros per night, including breakfast. So it was insanely cheap, but it was very bad. Like, it was very smelly, very stinky. And I'm quite convinced that when I looked through the room, the air was actually so thick that my vision got blurry. Like, luckily I had a bed at the window, and after I just kept it open for a whole day, it was a bit better, but still it was really not good. Then I decided to go to another hostel, which was just in the next street, and it cost around 9 to 10 euros per night. So basically double, but it was just a 6-bed dormitory, and it was way more modern, cleaner. It was less personal, Like, it felt kind of, it's in its own fabric, so an old industrial place, but you had everything you needed there. Co-working space, good Wi-Fi, there was a cafe, so you had a lot of options for food and everything, so it was very convenient to work there. But yeah, it was very, very non-personal. I didn't really got to know other people. I also didn't really try, but there were like not a lot of common areas and stuff like that, or not a lot of common areas where people interacted with each other. In the common areas, people were just working basically. And after that, I eventually switched to a co-living place, which was amazing. I've never been in a co-living place before, and I saw it on booking.com and was really interested to see what it will be like to live there. It was also quite cheap, around 9 to 10 euros per night. A bit in the outskirts of Tbilisi, so not in the city center, but still a solid location. Like, you could get to a bus station like 5 to 10 minutes of walking and just take a 20 minutes bus right to the city center, and you had everything you need right around you, like a supermarket and stuff like that. And they also cooked food there, which you could get for 10 lari, so like 3 euros, which was fresh, healthy, and really tasty. And the whole place was just crazy. Like, it had the weirdest architecture I've ever seen in a hotel or in a building in general, probably. It had an own sauna, a good kitchen, which was actually quite clean for like a hostel kitchen, a sulfur bath, so they had their own sulfur spring beneath the building. So you had a pool with thermal water, with like warm water, which was amazing. And the people also were very friendly. What was a bit weird, that me and two other guys were the only non-Russian speaking people. So all the signs in this co-living place were in Russian, and I can't read Cyrillic, don't speak Russian. So it was kind of hard to get myself accustomed to that. But the people were super friendly and were always willing to help. Not all of them were speaking English, but even those that didn't speak English or didn't speak good English were super friendly and were always kind of trying to just do some small talk, like just do some chatting. It was very nice to live there, and also good places to work and a small workout place, which was amazing, so you could do like pull-ups and stuff. Yeah, so that was really cool. And I spent there, I think, 10 days approximately in total. And then I went to a capsule hotel because I really wanted to try that out. It was just kind of filthy. It was cheap, like also 9 to 10 euros per night, but not a good experience. Straight out of Matrix. Felt like you were living in an old fridge, kind of. And next day, I took a train to Tbilisi. Spent another night in a hostel, which was kind of cool. It was basically living in a small hut in the garden. That was my trip to Georgia, basically. Then I flew back to Germany. I overall had a very good time. Like, as I said, I ate out nearly every day. Obviously looking for rather cheap restaurants, but there are plenty. And went skiing twice, which was very affordable and very good. Like, the snow was amazing there. I think probably because you're quite high up in the mountains, but also it could be just sheer luck, because from what I've heard, these snow conditions were extraordinarily good at that time. And also the weather was quite good, especially when you were in Godauri. But it was really cool. Especially in the first days, we did quite a bit. After that, like, since I was only working on my thesis, I didn't really do a lot except eating and writing. So that definitely saved money. But I think it's amazing that you could live for like just 300 euros per week in a foreign country. Everything included. Of course, insurance and stuff like that is not included, but even my SIM card was included in that calculation. So Georgia is really affordable. You have a high standard of living, and I would definitely recommend checking it out.